How's your season so far?
It's okay, I guess. It's been one of those things. The last 7 years has just been kind of brutal. It's like I heard this morning Dave say, like, what's average anymore? It's we've been anywhere from we had one in the 7 years, the best crop we've ever had on the farm, and probably 5 of the worst crops we've ever had on the farm. So yeah, it's been all over the map.
And this year, I mean, again, what's average now? But how?
Yeah, we were probably 30% below our long-term average all across the board. We're about 25% irrigated, so that was okay. That's probably a normal irrigated crop. But the dry land is, we were into crop insurance on half the farm and just out of crop insurance on the other half. So it's, just below average.
Other than the weather, which we certainly recognize, what's the biggest challenge you're up against as a grower?
Well, it's not what you would think. The biggest challenge, bar none, to agriculture right now in Canada is our government, and it's our policies. It's sad to say, but perfect example this year was putting tariffs on EV and metal stuff coming out of China, and immediately China throws a threw a wrench into it where they're going to maybe put tariffs on canola, and so we lost $50 a ton out of our canola in 3 days. And that's $200,000 just on my farm, so you can imagine. And so, insecticides being banned and seed treatments being banned and rail service not getting that under control. It's just and it's something we can't control. That's the most frustrating thing.
I was going to say, something like a trade dispute with China, you're just stuck in the middle more or less, I guess.
Yeah, you sit there and put all our crop in. We get one, we've talked about it before, we get one paycheck a year as a farm. And that paycheck gets cut by 20% in 3 days because of somebody's decision in Ottawa. And so, what do you say about that? You just kind of have to roll with it.
Yeah. So what impact do you see that having on people? Like, we're talking here on a family farm and it's going from one generation to another, which is nice to see, but it's also a little bit rare. Like, how do you see the pressures and think about them when we're talking about the next generation of farmers and getting people to get into the industry?
Well, I mean, it's something that every farm deals with, and you're seeing less and less farms, right? And so I'm fourth generation. Fifth generation now, there's potentially 9 cousins that are involved, and trying to get 9 cousins to agree, and it's tough. And so, as you know, with agriculture, it's a very, very high asset business, but a very, very low cash business. So we don't make a ton of money compared to what the assets are. So if you ever have to sell land or split the farm up or give part of it away, it basically ruins the farm. That's it. So it's very difficult to keep the generations going. It's getting harder and harder.
Wait, there's a rainbow behind you, for crying out loud. Anyway, symbolic, I hope, of, brighter days. Yeah, that's right. So, I mean, I wanted to ask you about that. Like, what is it that keeps you going, given the challenges?
Well, it's nice seeing, like last night we were combining and having your kids on there and seeing them sleep on the floor. That keeps you going for sure. But yeah, it's getting tougher and tougher. You see what land's worth, and when you can literally, this is without no exaggeration, sit on a beach and make more money if you sold the land and make more money at 5% even on a GIC than what you do farming it. It makes it. You gotta ask yourself, what are we doing here? And so it's. We just take it literally. I guess we take it one generation at a time because you just never know what's coming at you.
Well, it's interesting you mentioned, like Dave had said too, it's a time to get out of farming too, and he doesn't plan to do that, but the price of land is really significant. So when you're battling to make a buck, and the sale price is there for the land. So, the government being a big obstacle from your perspective, like, what do you see as the solutions for you, but also for another generation to see that there's a living in this?
Well, I guess to start, I mean, it's not all about the government. There's many issues, but I mean, if we're going to start there real quick, it's just about having, somebody putting ag ministers in place that understand agriculture and understanding what's going on, and having agriculture, which is one of the biggest industries in this country, as one of the most important industries, and not just something to be thrown away. So that would be a start. I don't know. We're in world markets, and I know it throws other stuff like carbon tax. That's another thing that we deal with in Canada, right? And nobody else in the world does. And so that's what we sell all our grain on the world market, all of it. And so we have to compete against the United States and Australia and all these places, and they don't have that. And so that's just another wrench. And so we don't need. Farming is difficult enough. We don't need extra things like trade issues and carbon taxes and all this stuff just to make it even harder. And so if we could just help make things a little bit easier and actually just get out of the way. let us have an open market. Let us not have to deal with all these things, and let us go out and market and make our money. And in fact, that's just get out of the way. You know, we don't need government in our way, and that's right now. Like I said, I'm not trying to throw them on the bus, but it's probably one of the biggest issues we deal with.
Perspective you'd share with a number of your neighbors.
Absolutely, yeah. No, it's for sure, and it'd be nice to just see some representation for, you know, we're just not represented. Rural Canada's not represented, right? So that's just tough sometimes.
Well, it's something Dave said. He was motivated to host us here to help get the word out about what's going on in the world of agriculture. So we appreciate you doing this. What's on your to-do list for today? Maybe driving through the weather, it kind of limits you.
Office, yeah, like you get combining, and so it's just, you get literally, I brought my mail in and it was like 2 feet tall. And so, I just go and pay bills and just getting caught up on book work, and accountants are emailing about, year end and all of that fun stuff so you're not just about in the fields, it's office work too.
Okay, there's a rainbow there, which I was saying is symbolic, and we just got our first few drops there. Yeah, oh boy, coast to coast. Thank you very much for speaking with us. Really appreciate it.
Hey, no, thank you for giving us the time out here to let people know what's going on, because it's super important.